The reason why most people will never lose fat is simply because they're unwilling to embrace the suck. Instead, they give into it because once things begin to suck, they tend to fixate on it and really build up this anxious energy inside them until it becomes intolerable. For example, it could be like after dinner, you've hit your calorie target for the day and you're starting to feel hungry again. You sit down to watch your favorite program with your spouse, and on television, you're seeing them sit down to an amazing dinner or amazing meal, eating some amazing food. All you can think about is food at that time. Then you get into bed and you start thinking about food. You start thinking about how hungry you are. You're tossing and turning. You can't fall asleep because that's all you're thinking about there. Next thing you know, it's midnight. You're reaching into the fridge and diving into a tub of ice cream. When it comes to your weight training, maybe an exercise like the leg extension where you're doing some higher rep sets, that burning sensation starts to kick in with your thighs, and it's all you can think about, how much your thighs are burning. And you stop that set not when your muscles can no longer do anymore, but when your mind can no longer tolerate that burning sensation in your thighs. So it's your mind that's giving out before your body is. Same thing like with cardio. If you're out for a jog or something, I mean, that's time where you're in your head. Your legs start to feel heavy. You're sucking some wind. You can have some conversations in your mind where you're fixating on that and just talking yourself into stopping short of your planned session for the day, or maybe going easier than you had planned on going in that cardio route there. For myself, when it comes to hot yoga, I've been practicing this for the past 9 months. It's in a very hot room. There's a lot of days where I'm like, fine, I love it. I really do enjoy the heat quite a bit, but there are an odd occasion here where the heat starts to consume my mind, and it can be very distracting from my practice, especially if I'm trying to hold a balancing pose or maybe relax into a deep stretch. If I'm getting myself worked up about the heat and thinking, oh my God, am I going to be able to get through the rest of this class right now? Thinking about the heat, it can really debilitate me in that moment. So in those times, whether it's nutrition, whether you're trying to control your appetite or push through a hard set in your workout or get through your cardio session or your hot yoga class like that, you can be mentally tough and try to will yourself through that. But I'd rather you practice mental fortitude, as I've talked about in recent videos, where you're focused on executing the solution. And the great thing about the yoga practice, one of the things that's really helped reinforce in my daily habits, is the practice of coming back to my breath. So I start to feel anxious about the heat, or maybe I'm feeling anxious about the stretch that I'm in right now. Maybe it's feeling a little bit too intense for me at the moment. I'm like fixating on is the intensity of that stretch right there. Come back to my breath. Just take a nice deep breath in and really slow down that breath, and breathing through the nose, like slowly exhaling it through your nose, can really calm your nervous system and really kind of help release some of that anxious energy that you have. But it's also a distraction from the suck, whatever you are fixating on. If you fixate on your breath instead of the suck, it can really distract you from that thing. And really, it's amazing what you can push through in those moments. So sure, when you are experiencing that hunger in the evening and it's all you find, you're starting to think about too much more about food there, just focus on your breath in that moment. Just slow down your breath, get rid of that anxious energy. You don't want to turn your transformation journey into a stressful situation there. So try to calm your nervous system down, focus on your breath. If that doesn't work, maybe get out for a walk, do something to distract your mind from your hunger, drink some water at the same time too, but really try to ease those thoughts. And maybe it could be taking a look at your overall lifestyle as well. I have some clients, their appetite, they experience that hunger in the evening. Part of it's because their sleep isn't on point. So once they get their sleep on point, they can control their appetite a lot better. It's been proven through research how the impact of sleep on your appetite control. If you're not getting an adequate amount of sleep each and every night, you could eat upwards of 300, 600 calories more per day without even really knowing it, because of that lack of sleep. So focusing on their sleep, or even volume foods, like different food combinations, can help improve their appetites. Just talking with a client this morning, was away on vacation, come back home for a couple of days here, back to his normal eating habits. He's like, I feel way more satiated on 1,000 calories, maybe like 1,500 calories less now that he's eating at home, because those foods are more high volume. He's back to eating more veggies and lean proteins and more high volume foods that are more satiating to him than what he was eating when he was on vacation. Another client of mine just seems to have an insatiable appetite. Sleep is a huge thing for him once he started the days where he does get better sleep, his appetite's in better control. The days where he incorporates more veggies and some lean proteins, he feels more satiated. Certain food combinations make him feel more satiated. And his appetite has been ravenous in the past, even though he's eating more calories than I've ever had any client his size consume, like hundreds and hundreds of calories more than anyone else. And he clearly, like, based on his weight feedback, he needs to be eating less in order to achieve the goals that he wants to achieve, but it's his appetite. So again, the sleep, we look at the solutions: get more sleep, consume more voluminous foods, but it's also going to be your mental fortitude, really focusing on distracting your mind, not building up that nervous, anxious energy inside, because all you're fixated on is how hungry you are in that moment. You gotta distract yourself, find different ways. Practicing meditation is freaking phenomenal for this. Again, coming back to your breath, really, it's going to be good for you overall, because again, stress can have an impact on your appetite as well. Even though some clients with high appetites aren't dealing with any stress at the moment, but little things. So coming back to your breath is very helpful. When it comes to the weight training, pushing through those sets, like for me, when I'm doing, again, leg extensions is a great example, or like a high rep leg press, that burning sensation kicks in, and I am able to flip that switch in my mind to myself personally and to the outside observers there watching me go through that set. When like that burning sensation kicks in, they can see that switch flip in my mind, and it's almost like I'm possessed, like a different person in that moment, because that burning sensation was becoming intolerable. I was like about to stop that set, even though I know my legs could keep pushing more. You flip that switch in mind, like, holy smokes, like where did that extra 10, 12 reps come from? It's just flipping a switch. I would say go to my happy place, but I just don't know where it is in my mind. It's almost like going back to my childhood when I was like running the 400-meter dash. Like that last 100 meters of the 400-meter dash suck. There's nothing about that that does not suck. Your legs are heavy. The lactic acid buildup is just insane. You're breathing like you're sucking wind like crazy. You basically got to will yourself across the line, or flip that switch in your mind. Have that mental fortitude to focus on your breath, focus on executing like one step in the other. Don't think about, I've got 100 more meters to go. I got one more step to go. I've got one more step to go. I've got one more step to go. Same thing with your reps. Just one more rep, just one more rep, just one more rep. And you just keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Same thing with the cardio. One step in front of the other, just one more step, just one more step. Give it your best. But yeah, it really comes down to embracing that suck. I mean, it should be, like I talk about in all my videos here, you want to focus on thriving. You want to focus on the joy in the journey. And you're doing all these things that are going to bring joy to your life. You're consuming foods that you enjoy. You're doing workouts that you enjoy. You're doing cardio that you enjoy. You're doing activities that you enjoy. But there's going to be moments and aspects during each of those where you're going to be challenged. It's going to suck a bit. You are going to experience some hunger if you want to lose fat. It shouldn't be debilitating hunger where it's all consuming and you're like absolutely freaking ravenous. But again, a lot of that could come down to what's going on in your mind there, where you're just fixating on it rather than focusing on coming back to the breath and just calming yourself down and trying to distract yourself and do other things around you to occupy your mind and not fixate on how hungry you are. So really getting this into practice, and when you should embrace all these challenges in there. That's where we grow. You're going to grow from doing those extra reps. You're going to grow from, again, when it comes to feeling that bit of hunger, I like to think to myself, like, that's great. I should feel hunger. That's a sign that I'm in a calorie deficit. I need to be in a calorie deficit in order to get lean, achieve my fat loss goal. Yay me, this is freaking awesome. I can do this. I can tolerate a bit of hunger for the short term, knowing that there's going to be a huge payoff in the end. I'm going to move better. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to perform better. I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to have more vitality. So I'm willing to embrace this suck for that long-term the gratification, the down the road gratification. So rather than instant gratification, it's delayed gratification. But you can experience that instant gratification in that moment by just not giving in to the temptations that you're faced with there. So challenges all throughout in all aspects of our journey, our transformation journey here. And just up to us to face that challenge, to really step up to the plate, to flip that switch in our mind, to do what is going to serve us best, not only in that moment, but for the long term. And that's all a part of the growth process. Just really recognizing those kind of sucky moments as great opportunities for us to rise to the occasion, to really look deep within and really express the best version of ourselves. So highly encourage you to just find different ways to overcome those sucky situations. If you have different methods that you have utilized yourself when it comes to appetite control, when it comes to pushing through that pain, that burning sensation when it comes to your weight training, especially the leg workouts there. What are some of the tips and tricks that you have found have worked for you? Cardio, what do you do? When it comes to cardio, it could be music. Just some people get lost in the music. Some people play a little game. Like sometimes when I'm out there, I look for different birds, try to spot different things out in nature, just trying to observe all my surroundings so I'm not thinking about how heavy my legs are feeling right now or how much I'm sucking wind at this moment. I'm just focused on everything else around me in these situations. So we'd love to hear what you're doing in those situations to make the most out of it. I just had my furry homie Chiefy dog come into the room. We got a thunderstorm come in here. He hates thunder, the poor guy. So I'm going to wrap this video up right here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do me a huge favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. So would my furry homie Chiefy dog. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from watching today's video, please do me a favor and share it with him as well. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. Before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked. Have yourself an amazing day. Catch you in the next video.